Greetings, Benjamin J from Ben's Trains with another in the series. A quick follow-up on that Lionel 244 that had the holes in the boiler. As you can see, the holes are gone. So I touched this up with epoxy. I just put a piece of tape on the inside of the shell, pulled the motor out of course, put a piece of tape on the inside of the shell, filled the hole with 5-minute epoxy, one at a time of course. Let it cure, lightly shaped it, and then lightly sprayed it with black paint. So it's far from perfect, but there are no more holes in the boiler. So a quick repair. It took probably about, 40 minutes or something like that to do that. And it's far from perfect, but there are no holes in the boiler now. And if I actually sprayed this with a textured paint, they would disappear. You wouldn't be able to see them at all. Anyway, this is running really well. While it was out, I lubed it and tuned it, and running absolutely perfectly, as you can see. So that's pulling 16 cars at 60% power right now. Haven't added any oil to the smoker, but check the smoker while I had it out. Everything's in fairly decent condition. It had been stored for years, and it's actually starting to smoke. And check the smoker. The wick looked to be in fairly decent condition. Like I said, I haven't added any smoke fluid to it, but it is slightly smoking. Anyway, while it was out, I lubricated all the moving parts that I could get to. The armature bearings, of course, wheel bearings. Cleaned it up as much as I could. This is actually running really, really well. So it's still far from perfect, but for $5, you just cannot beat it. As you see, it is smoking. So $5 on eBay, the thing's running just absolutely perfectly. Like I said, it's far from perfect. It was missing the pilot, and it had those 2 holes in the boiler. So I put a new pilot on it, as you can see, and touched up those holes in the boiler, and you can see the smoke now. And this actually came out all right. Like I said, it's far from perfect, but at least it's repaired. And it wasn't super difficult to do. It's just time consuming, and of course you have to pull the motor out to do it. But it was definitely worth the $5, and it was worth the time it took to repair it. So I'm happy with it, and you really can't beat the price, and it's running just absolutely splendidly. So as I always stress, I just got to say it, don't overlook the junk. And this was about as junky as you can find, $5 on eBay, even with the holes in the boiler. It only took a few minutes. It was actually running when I took it out of the box. A few drops of oil, that got it going. And then I discovered the carpet fibers wrapped around that front axle. Like I said, they were just, it was packed so tight in there, I had to use an X-Acto knife and a hemostat to actually pull those fibers out of there. And once I did that, this locomotive just took off. It is running just absolutely splendidly. So the holes in the boiler are gone, as you can see. It has a new pilot. Is it perfect? Nope, it sure isn't. But it's $5. As you notice, I have not clipped off that marker yet. The one on this side is missing, so I will just clip this one off. And like I said, I might get some textured paint and spray this, and this thing would look almost new. It's in really decent shape. There was no great amount of damage to it other than those 2 holes in the boiler. How those got there, it couldn't have been from storage. It had to be a deliberate act of some kind. I mean, it's like somebody stabbed it with a screwdriver or a pair of scissors. That's exactly what it looked like. But as you can see, the repair is not noticeable at all. It actually doesn't look bad. Like I said, it's far from perfect, but it was $5, and it's running really well, pulling 16 Lionel cars. Now these are Mark's cars. 16 Mark's cars. Smoker's working. It's running great. It was super easy to fix, just time consuming to do it, but it was worth the time it took to fill those holes, no doubt. Like I said, a quick spray of textured paint, and that would be an absolutely invisible repair. From a foot away, you can't see it anyway. So a Lionel 244, that's smoking, running perfectly, $5 on eBay. So again, don't overlook the junk. It was a lot of fun to work on this, and it's always nice to get something really, really inexpensive that turns out to be a lot more than you anticipated. I bought this for parts. As soon as I took it out of the box, I was planning on tearing it apart, just scavenging the parts off of it. But as you can see, this is running just absolutely splendidly. And of course, it's smoking. So it has a new pilot. I touched up filled the holes in the boiler. So it was definitely worth what I paid for it. Plus I had a lot of fun doing it. It's always fun, I think anyway, to bring these old dead locomotives back to life. As you can see, this is far from perfect, but it is acceptable looking. Actually quite acceptable looking. You can't see the repair. The holes are gone. It has a new pilot. Best of all, of course, is the fact that it's running so well. So it has a working headlight, working smoker, runs just absolutely spectacularly. It just, you couldn't ask it to run better than it is. It runs really, really well. So really pleased with this, really surprised when I took it out of the box that it ran at all, let alone as well as it is running. So really did nothing to it but lubrication and cleaning, getting those carpet fibers off that axle, of course, and then touching up the holes in the boiler. And as you can see, they're visible, but just barely. And like I said, if I had sprayed this with a textured paint, you wouldn't be able to see it at all. It actually looks quite respectable. I'm really happy with it. $5 on eBay. So anyway, just wanted to do a follow-up video. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.